Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
So right now I'm standing in an exhibition, the first in India, which showcases company paintings of Indian birds. I have the curator with me, Dr. Giles Tillotson, and we'll speak to him about how he curated this whole exhibition. What inspired you to because art is a vast subject. So what inspired you to focus on the company paintings of Indian birds, and how did you go about curating this whole amazing collection?
Well, we're very fortunate that we had the album in our collection, and the CEO of the company drew my attention to it. It appealed to me for two reasons. Firstly, because of a childhood interest in Indian birds, actually. I mean, I've always bird-watched in India. But also because I feel that company painting is a relatively neglected area of Indian art. We've all seen many, many exhibitions of Indian court painting. DAG has, in its history, done hundreds of exhibitions of modern Indian art. Company painting has always been a bit of a poor relation, a neglected area. So I thought, well, it would be fun for us to showcase some company paintings as a start with this delightful album, which has 99 paintings of a huge variety of Indian birds, beautifully painted. Seemed a good place to start, so that's what I did.
DAG, an art company known for its inventory of Indian art and archival material, has come up with the first ever exhibition in India showcasing a selection of company paintings of Indian birds from 1800 to 1835. These paintings were collected by unknown Indian masters who were commissioned by the East India Company in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Titled Birds of India, Company Paintings circa 1800 to 1835, the pioneering exhibition includes a variety of birds ranging from raptors, gambirds, coastal waders, woodlands, and forest birds. While some may be familiar, there are several others that are now hard to find in India. Curated by Dr. Giles Tillotson, an expert on art history of India and senior VP exhibitions and publications at DAG, the exhibition features 125 paintings of Indian birds. The collection included 99 paintings from the albums of East India Company's Captain Cunningham Graham, the circa 1810 album of birds from Northeast India, and the Faber album from circa 1830. The collection also includes 4 folios by Chunnilal of Patna, who is known for being the only one artist that remains identified from the Edward Ing album of birds in 1835.
So the term company painting is a phrase that art historians use to refer to a particular phase of Indian art, which is when Indian artists who might have trained in a courtly tradition start to work instead for European patrons, which has a big impact on what they paint and how they paint it. Typically, an Indian artist working for a European, it's not only British, I use the term European because it's not exclusively British. So typically the subject matter is going to change because the subject is dictated by the European patron, but also their materials change. So these paintings of birds are all made on paper that was made in England. I know that because of the way in which it's structured.
So what challenges did you face when you curate this whole images and paintings?
Well, no, the major challenge was really to decide the sequences to display them in. The person who probably commissioned, certainly collected them together, numbered the folios, but they seemed to me to be rather randomly ordered, and I wanted to put them into some kind of logical sequence according to the type of bird shown. So I've grouped them, putting, for example, the raptors together, the game birds together. We're standing in front of some of the waders now, and so on through to the forest birds and songbirds, kingfishers together. So whereas these had been all scattered and separated in the album, I wanted to show them in sort of family groups, as it were, because I thought that would make more sense from a scientific point of view, as well in some ways as an artistic point of view.
Earlier you mentioned this is a junction where the Western science and Indian art merge together. So what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that, so the collector, of course, is British, and he, in trying to label and identify the birds, he's relying on a English work of reference, a book of World Birds, published by somebody called John Latham. But this is at a very early period of investigation of ornithology around the world, and especially in India. So although obviously Indian court figures, Indian artists were familiar with Indian birds, there hadn't, as it were, been a meeting of the two worlds over expertise. And this is the moment of meeting, as it were, when a European, a British patron is trying to identify Indian birds and bring to bear upon them a Western body of knowledge that's still in a very kind of nascent state. So I think it's interesting that it's such a primitive period, as it were, from the scientific point of view, but a crucial moment of beginning.
So, sir, is there any further, exhibitions that you're planning on, surrounding Indian culture and arts?
Oh, yes. I mean, we're working on exhibitions all the time. I'd very much like next year to do another exhibition of company painting, not focusing on birds. We have wonderful works of botanical studies and depictions of architecture. But the exhibition I'm actually researching and working on putting together just at the moment is a far cry from any of that. It's an exhibition to do with perceptions of Tipu Sultan.
So we have to wait for that exhibition, Perceptions of Tipu Sultan. Thank you so much for joining with us. This is Tenzin Zompa reporting for ThePrint.